2 years ago, I walked into a poker room for the first time. 3 months later, I picked up a camera and started documenting the journey. No plan, no expectations, just trying to figure out the game one weekend at a time. And I learned the hard way. First, I lost £1,000, but then the chips started going my way. I thought, I've got this game figured out. For the first time, we've broken even by £2. I was here. Poker is the most deceptive game in the world. You can make all the wrong moves and still win, until the deck stops forgiving you. Boom, reality check, £1,000 down, turned into 2,000, then 3,000. Every weekend, I'd show up thinking this was the session I'd turn it around, but the numbers kept dropping. It was time to step away. No live poker, no vlogs, back to the drawing board. 5-6 months later, I returned. A new season, a new challenge. And the bankroll challenge is to get to £5,000. We don't even have enough proof that we are a winning player yet.
Are you serious?
But hopefully, when we do get there, we're going to Vegas. So this season it's the road to Vegas. But results, same story. The downswing didn't stop. Eventually, at £4,000 in the hole, I had to make a move. It was time to reach out to a coach. Guys, if anyone of you know any poker coaches out there, send them my way. I think I need it. But poker isn't a game where you flip a switch and start winning overnight. Breaking bad habits is slow. Even after coaching, I was still bleeding chips. At my lowest, I was down over £5,300. Then, the coaching sank in, and I realized getting better at poker, at least for me, wasn't about memorizing more charts, more strategies, more advanced plays. It was more about removing the noise, stripping away the unnecessary complexity. My coach helped me do exactly that. Simplify, reset, focus on what actually beats live low stakes poker. Fast forward 365 days since the Road to Vegas challenge began, we arrive at today's date. We are sitting just £1,200 away from locking in our flights to the gambling capital of the world. What's happening, people? We've just arrived. I think we're gonna flick it in. We've got about an hour until late reg closes, so we're gonna have to be quick. Me and my boy Ash have got tickets for the satellite. Say hi to the vlog, Ash. Hello. Why do I play tournaments, guys? Just gotta focus on cash until Road to Vegas is over. We are already out. First hand, King 9 of diamonds in the cutoff. Player in the hijack goes all in for 2 big blinds, and I jam with my 15 big blind stack. Small blind calls with about 20 big blinds. Yeah, we don't win that one, we are out. We're gonna go play some cash. I'll see you at the tables. Up till now, the game has been pretty dry, not much action going on, and we can't make a big hand, but the table dynamics are about to change when a loose, splashy player joins in, and it's not long after that when we pick up our first significant hand, the big slick. There's one limper before action is on the aggro player, who raises to a tenner, then folds to us in the big blind. I raise to 35, only the action player calls. So far so good. Flop comes 8-8-6 rainbow. This is not so good, so I check, and thankfully the action player checks back. Turn is huge though, an ace of clubs. So versus this player type, I'm always going to check to give him some rope, and he puts out an almost pop bet, 60 into 73, which we love to see, but want him to think we hold something like an underpair to the ace. So I think it's very important we don't just snap call here. We wait maybe 20-30 seconds before calling and go to the river, which comes at 5 of diamonds, which I think is a brick. And as my coach taught me, a cardinal sin in poker is leading out of position when our opponent still has bluffs in his range, as it denies them the opportunity to bluff. A mistake I still make from time to time, but in this case it's a pretty clear check, and we are grateful to see him now start reaching for more chips to bet out £150. I actually hesitate to quickly verify that I'm not being hasty, but I think that's mainly due to my inexperience. And of course, we do call, and no surprises here. We are good for your information, he had king, queen. 20 minutes later, we pick up 9-8 of hearts in the low jack, playing with a stack juiced up to £630 now, and open it up to 8, hoping to play in position or take it down. Unfortunately, cutoff and button make the call, blinds get out of the way, and we are off to the races, 3 ways out of position to a flop, which is absolute money. 5, 6, 7 rainbow. We don't just flop the nuts here, we flop it on a board better for both of our opponents, unblock sets, and so on and so forth. And so out of position, I'm going to check instead of lead and praying to hear from at least one of them. And sure enough, the cutoff bets 20 into 27. Button folds, and now it's time to spring it. I check raise to 55, simply targeting anything that wants to call. The cutoff doesn't take too long before flicking it in, and we go heads up to the turn, which is the 4 of hearts. Maybe an action killer, so don't love it, but it keeps us nutted, brings in some backdoor hearts, which we just so happen to have. Now here's where I want to keep my opponent wide. I want to still gain value from his mediocre hands, but also induce raises from his strong hands. So I'll go for a small bet, just 35 into 137, and he now raises to 100. Oh my god.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone?
So now if he has a set straight, he's never folding. If he has a hand like 2 pair or big draw, well then we've likely got him committed. And with our exact hand, we want it all. So I rip it for his remaining £127. He snaps, so probably has a set, worse straight or big draw. Anyway, we tell him we have the nuts and go to the river, and it's not the best. It is the 5 of clubs pairing the board, but he quietly mucks and we scoop in a big boy pot. Let's go. As if we weren't running hot enough, we pick up aces. I raise to 8 in early position. We get 3 callers in the field, and the flop comes ace, 3, 5 rainbow. Today is a good day. I check over to the fun recreational on the button, who bets only 10 into 35. And I think with his size in here, he's likely very capped, especially when we block ace-x combos, and I don't feel we need much protection either, so I just call with 2 players behind, and the cutoff calls as well. Queen of spades on the turn, and now make an unorthodox small donk, hoping to get raised, but also a bet I think will get called by weak hands, which would otherwise just check back on this turn. Only the button calls, and the river is the 9 of hearts, so I bet small again, but we are getting no more milk. We move. Yep, aces again, folds to the button, who limps, and in the small blind I raise to 20, and now the unlucky victim from our 9-8 of hearts hand in the straddle jams for his last £60. We call and hold. I know. On to picking up ace king of hearts in the small blind. We are facing an open from the low jack, so I go to 30. We go heads up with the low jack to 10 queen 6 2 spades. I check out position, and low jack checks back, telling me he's very likely capped. But when the jack of diamonds comes in the turn, bringing in another flush draw 2, so this deep I do elect to bet just over pot to try go for stacks on the river, but he thinks for a few seconds before correctly folding. We play a few more hands after this before wrapping up this unreal session. What is happening, guys? We just finished our session, 5-hour session, £550 profit. What a fantastic session that was. One of our biggest wins to date, and it feels like Vegas really is just round the corner now. Really exciting stuff. Might not get home. It's 1 AM, might have to sleep in the car. Right, I'm gonna get rid of the phone so I can drive carefully. See you in the next session. Guys, we made it home. What an absolute free-for-all. Oh yeah, and remember our boy Ash from last session who we started the satellite with? He only went on to finish second for a £20,000 big boy payout. What a guy. We are currently down 40 quid since starting session 2, as we now pick up pocket 9s in the cutoff. I ISO raise the low jack limper to 12, and we get a tiny 3-bet from the tight older gentleman in the small blind. Low jack moves out of the way, and well, we are not going anywhere for the price, but time to tread with caution until flop comes 9 king 4 2 hearts. Small blind now c-bets 36 into 56. Great, he seems strong. We just call his big bet and hope for a clean turn, but it comes to jack of hearts. Not what we wanted to see. Understandably, he slows down and checks. Still think I need to bet for value though, so I bet half pot, looking to set up a river jam, and unfortunately he snap folds. We move in the big blind now with 3 limps before us. I raise to 17, hijack calls, and now shockingly button back raises to 45 with only 155 more behind, and luckily for us we have aces. Feels a bit like a dream. I just click it to 92 to try and make us both pot committed on the flop, but after hijack folds, button jams, so let's run it.
I got aces. Really?
King Queen off next with the straddle. I open to 15, only the button calls, so we go out of position, heads up to 7, 10, 3, 2 diamonds. We don't have much. I check and he checks back, so on the 9 of clubs I want to start a bluff. He only has 80 more behind though, and usually I don't recommend bluffing into short stacks. But here, in this case, I bet 15, only small. Important, it still leaves a sizable pot bet for the river. And if he raises, we just fold. But if he just calls this small bet, I think we can move him off a better hand with a jam on the river. And the river is another 9, meaning less likely he has a 9 now. And as planned, we put him all in.
75.
We open ace king in the low jack to 8, go 3 ways with the button and big blind to king, 7, 5, 2 clubs, checks through on the flop, 10 of spades on the turn, and now the pro in early position bets pot. The board is a little dicey and I think we have the best hand, so I raise to 75 and he snap folds. We take this one down. Moving swiftly on to a monumental hand, boys and girls, with jack 9 of clubs. I raise to 8 out of the low jack and we get 3 callers, not great. 4 ways to the sexiest flop I've ever flopped. 7, 8, 10, 2 clubs. Are you joking? The pro checks to me, our position. I just check. And it checks to the button, who was a recreational, who thankfully decides to bet. He bets around half pot, and it's back on us. We unblock all the sets, 2 pairs, and ace through queen high flush draws are still all out there. So we are very happy to raise here. I go to 50, everyone gets out of the way, and shortly after, he now starts grabbing a few £25 chips. And yes, free bets to £155. What a dream spot this is. But do we call or do we just 4-bet jam here, guys?
Let's party.
Well, he's shown serious strength. Question is he ever really folding anything after 3-betting this flop? I mean, if we jam, he might just put us on a flush draw, and we are free rolling versus jack 9, and any club could kill our action. So you guessed it, we 4-bet jam the flop for his £500 stack.
Ready? If I fold the show, I'll stay. Oh, toxic. Oh, fucking hell.
Guys, we did it. We did it.
Rather got aces or kings.
Who do you think you are? I am!
Into this tournament, extremely hot. We did it. Thanks to our coach, Kyle, who we're going to give a shout out to. He hasn't got too many spaces, but he's played a huge part in helping us achieve this, guys. So I'm gonna put some form of contact information in the description below. If you wanna reach out to him, he's probably gonna have limited spaces. Obviously, I am gonna have to quickly speak to him before I post this, but if you're hearing this now, that means he has said okay to me putting his information, contact information in the description. He's absolutely changed my game around for playing low live stakes. He plays for a living, so yeah, do contact him if you want to improve your game, guys. So yeah, massive shout out to our coach there. Couldn't have done it without him, to be honest. But also, we've got to give a shout out to everyone who watches this channel and supported this channel, everyone who's supported the channel in person, online, in the comments. I appreciate every single one of you. I'm gonna start to look to book those tickets to Las Vegas. I'm gonna look to go in probably March or February. Probably gonna go to Vegas for between 2 to 4 weeks. I don't know yet, but keep you guys posted, guys. We've completed the 5K bankroll challenge. I could not believe it. Oh my God. What a hand though, guys. How hot have we been running? A 4-bet on the flop. I've never 4-bet on the flop in my life. So we have been very fortunate. Cannot forget that. But we've been disciplined. We've been following the strategy. But without further ado, I'm gonna drive home with a big smile on my face. Thank you, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Welcome to Las Vegas. We know you're ready to go, but please remain seated with your seatbelt